Morning, everybody. I am Professor Janvi Girish Kumar Hirani from Civil Engineering Department, and today I am the coordinator for this webinar, which is on the topic of instilling environmental awareness by our expert, Mr. Aditya Vaghela. So I request Professor Shwetal Gandhi to just introduce our guest and give the brief introduction about his work regarding the environmental awareness.
Yes, good morning to all. Myself, Shwetal Gandhi, Assistant Professor in Parul University, Civil Engineering Department. So today's our guest is Mr. Aditya Vaghela. He is currently working as a project associate at ISRO. We are Pandit Dayal Energy University, Gandhinagar. So Aditya sir did his bachelor and master degrees in environmental engineering, bachelor degree from the LD Engineering College and masters from the PDU, and he got the best thesis award as a Gujarat level and also represented national poster presentation award. The category. So I'm requesting to Aditya sir in today's presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, may I start? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
And thank you both the faculties for such a lovely introduction. As they said, my name is Aditya Vaghela, and I am currently working in ISRO project at PDEU. So we are currently working on remote sensing data and air quality, like assessing the air quality through satellite data and all. And it is a lovely experience that I was invited by Parul University, and both the faculties gave such a great introduction about me for a webinar talk. So without any delay, I would begin our webinar. So instilling environmental awareness. First of all, I'd like to point out the word instilling. Instilling is a process that provokes a idea or a thought in someone's brain or someone's head, like instilling something that you are tend to do. That is instilling environmental awareness. So I'll just provoke a idea of environmental awareness in your mind, so that you might better relate to what is environment and what are the precautions measures, what are the issues, what you can do about this. So the contents that I will be covering in my slides in my presentation or my talk are: first is, what is environmental awareness? Like, what is the gist of it? How you quantify environmental awareness? What are the qualitative and quantitative aspects of environmental awareness? What are the issues related to environmental awareness that you need to be aware, that what pertains those issues? Then we'll talk about the air, water, and solid waste, like the three major benefactors that provoke these issues and lead to we being aware of it. Then we come to consequences, that is global warming, the major change around the globe of rising temperatures and all, climate change, the global warming leading to climate change, the solutions that you can provide, we can develop, and that would lead us towards sustainable development. So from A to Z, we'll cover all these things. And yeah, I'll start. So first of all, we'll start with environmental awareness. Like, what is environmental awareness, how you are a part of it, and what are we supposed to do? Environmental awareness serves as an idea that enables humans across region to understand the economic, exquisite, and biological importance of the environment, and how to protect and preserve them by limiting human activities. So as an environment as a whole, how are we supposed to give biological importance, the economic perspective, and the exquisiteness of the environment, and how are we supposed to limit ourselves in what we do in our day-to-day life and protect it? Like, it is being distorted, we know it is being distorted, and how are we supposed to protect it? So it's a basic awareness that how we protect the economic exquisite and the biological importance of the environment. And the movement that starts with it is an ideology, or I'd say movement, environmentalism. That is environmentalism. Environmentalism is a movement and ideology that aims to reduce the impact of human activities on earth and its various inhabitants. Like, we our activities that impact other, like other trees, plants, animals, everything, like whatever we do, and we because we do things and it has its impacts. Like, you go from a car, a bike, a water, like anyway, whatever medium you are using and as a transport, it has its impacts on the environment because you're doing an activity, right? So, like, how are we supposed to reduce that uh, activity that it has a not a considerable impact on the environment? And this movement has evolved to build a resilience towards the effects of global climate change. Like, how this movement can globally, like a single person in a family or a group that joins a group, and how a global climate change can be stopped, the effects of global climate change can be stopped in order to build a society capable of adapting to a rapidly changing earth and finding sustainable ways to live in it. Like, we know that global, like we are studying this from 10th 12th, maybe even way below from there. Like, how are we supposed to stop this? Like, that temperatures are rising, there are many things occurring, so how are we supposed to, like, that ideology, to bring towards that ideology that human activities has a lesser impact on its inhabitants? Now we may talk about the issues that pertains to that, what we do and the consequences that are related to it. So we know we use daily, day-to-day products like clothing, materials, cars, parts, manufacturer, laptops, computers, mobile phones, etc., etc. And we use, like as you can see in this picture, plastic bottles. There are dry trees, there are fires, air pollutions, etc. So this is caused by us. So, like, we make these products without any consequences that what happens to an environment, and what are the like byproducts we are emitting into the environment without any consequences. Like, we use a mask, we just dump it without any regards, though it is considered as a biomedical waste, still we just dump it in a dustbin and we are done with it. We use a plastic bottle, we drink it, and we throw it on the roads. So without any consequence, we are not like even concerned about those things, and we just do it without a knowing, because it is implanted in us. We do not know that what are the consequences that lead to a major change. So we'll talk about these issues in detail in next few slides. Uh, the first thing that I'd like to say is air pollution. The first topic that I told in my slide: air, water, and solid waste. So the first topic I'll be talking about is air pollution. Like, what is air pollution? How a pollution is created in air? So, air pollution is a contaminant of indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, may it be physical, biological agent, that modifies and alters the characteristic of the air that you are breathing in the atmosphere itself. So, that you are going from one area to another and you feel like, oh my god, this air is not suitable for me, to I have to move someplace else. Like, you, whenever you are bypassing an industrial area, you feel like, okay, now I should wear a mask, because now there is a mask with you, so you'll just put on a mask, and okay, now it might be a little better. So that is air pollution. To give you the gist of it, there are many other factors that contribute to air pollution. Like, I'll show you what are the sources and how it affects you. Like, I'll show you the worst case scenarios that air pollution leads to. Now, a statistics published by World Health Organization said that 7 million deaths, 7 million, that is 70 lakh people, die each year due to air pollution itself. You might be saying that we have so many people, and 70 lakh is still a big number. You are breathing that air, the polluted air. So people die due to it. People have strokes, heart disease, even cancers, and other respiratory diseases. And 2 million of those people are attributed to Southeast Asia, like India. We can also say India. Like 2 million people, 20 lakh people die each year due to air pollution itself. Imagine the worst case scenario. Now, where is this air pollution coming from? You might say that it is from our day to day life. Household combustion devices, motors, vehicles, industrial, forest fires, common sources of air pollution. Like, in extensive amount, it is pollutant. Like, you burn anything, and okay, you are creating pollution. Like, I'm not saying that you stop it, but somehow that I said, that somehow limit our human activities, so it is less harmful, that it creates lesser health concerns. It We might as well in further slides talk about its mitigations as well. So the pollutants that are like, what I talked about air pollution, and now what are the pollutants? Like, how is it polluted? What creates the pollution? That includes particulate matter, carbon monoxide, ozone gas, nitrogen dioxide gas, sulfur dioxide gas. In extensive amount, they create health concerns, even indoors, outdoors, everywhere. And that causes respiratory disease, morbidity, and mortality. So that is air pollution. So you might want to think about it furthermore, that how you can limit it. In my next topic, I would be covering the water aspect. Like, we talked about air, and we are moving from air to water. Like, mm, we are using water in our day-to-day life. We drink it, we throw it, and we just be done with it. So how are we contaminating it? And then we are misusing the daily aspect of water. Now, when I say water pollution is a contamination of water source by substances which make the water unusable for drinking, cleaning, cooking, any activity. Like, whether you take a bottle of water and you just fill it up, you might find some sand particles in it, or you might find it discolorated. You'll just, oh yeah, this is very bad water. I'll not use this in anything. So you'll just throw it. You might not even be concerned about how it got polluted. What are the activities that was done to get the water that polluted? So the pollutions include that polluted the water was chemicals, trash, bacteria, parasites. Like, you say that, okay, these are parasites. We did not do all of that. But leading from human activities, there was an involvement of bacteria and parasites into the water. So it became that way. Now, even not like, when I say water pollution, it does not include just water pollution. Like, many other factors are considered into water pollution. Like, air particles can settle on water, solid waste can go on water. You have seen polluted oceans, and this and that, and many other things that seep into the water, and without you knowing, it becomes polluted. It is very worse. Right now, in present day, there are cases you might have heard about, Ganga River Rejuvenation Project. You might as well have heard about the disruption of Sabarmati River and the polluted water being dumped into it in Ganga River, in Sabarmati River. Why are these issues pertaining to such a high matter that even Supreme Court and High Courts are getting involved in it? Because we are using that water. We are using that water and we are polluting it. So imagine, just imagine how that scenario is. The effects now are visible everywhere. हाँ, एक सेकेंड, 6 हमारे पास है. Hello.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
yes, yes. Hello.
Yeah, there was some power fluctuation. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes. Now audible.
Hello. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes. You are audible.
Uh, okay. Okay, thank you. So I was talking about water pollution and how we are polluting it, the oceans, the rivers, the streams, the lakes. Now, I have written some words here like concentrations, effluents, eutrophication, filtration, sewage, toxic, and watersheds. Now, you might not hear these words in your day to day life, but these all words are of a greater importance when you actually deal with water pollution. Like eutrophication, you might even not know about this word, or you may even know, but I don't know. So, like eutrophication, like what is eutrophication? It is just algae in your stagnant water body, like the happening of algae in your water bodies. Like you may say that, oh my god, આ પાણી તો કેવું લીલું છે. Like you may say that it is a basic term. Like those who are from Gujarat itself, you may know that this is greenish water, like not drinkable. That is eutrophication. You filter your water in your day to day life, like you use RO system. That is filtration. Sewage, you may know sewage, toxic waters, watersheds. Effluents are something that are termed as like a discard from an industry, or a daily household, like sewage effluents and wastewater effluents. Effluents, chemical effluents. Concentrations are something you may know, like you may have read, like 500 ml, 600 ml, milligram per liter. Those are those concentrations in water, like of pollutants. So now, like I'll talk about, we it is done, it is polluted. Now you are not concerned about it. Now it is affecting your health. Now we see what are the health effects caused due to it. So we see that diseases are caused by it. Cholera, Giardia, typhoid. These are the basic three diseases that are and that I have mentioned. There are many others, way many others, that are caused due to polluted water entering our system, our body. So we might fall ill, we have fever, we have the diseases like those. And from how it is caused, like it is caused accidental, it may be illegal, like some industry is like doing some process producing something, and it is just with regards to the rules, laws, or anything, just dumping it into a water body, and without a concern it is well off. Now those are the things, that those are the cases that are running at high court that I talked about, like illegal activities, like sewages, treatments, run, like what are the sources? Those were the basics. Runoff from farms, like farmers or I don't know whom else, but they use pesticides and insecticides in farms, chemical insecticides and pesticides in farm, from watering those plants, from rain. When there is a runoff, those chemicals or waste, polluted water enters into your stream. Now that stream is polluted by then, and people are affected, harmful pathogens enter in those stream. Now these are the, like, what is water and how human health, social values and tourism, like where water is used and how are we uh, polluting it. So in industries and domestic area, we use them from for ecosystem health, like watering your plants, like watering the trees on your sideways on footpaths. Human health, we drink some of it, like not that water, but we drink water, right? Industrial activities, like pool, swimming pool, fisheries, foods, etc., etc., we use water in our day to day life, and we are still polluting it. Now from water, I'll be moving on towards solid waste management. Solid waste management, you see these pictures, right? You might be thinking that, oh wow, such a great hilltop and this and that. And this is, well, I'd like to say this is not a hilltop. It's a solid waste dump site. It is a mountain of a solid waste from a city in a place that has been gathering and gathering, and it is yet to be processed. There are fumes coming out of it, and without a concern, everything is going on, right? So I'll just explain you the idea of what solid waste and solid waste management is. Solid waste management is collecting, treating, and disposing the solid waste. Like, first of all, three phases: collecting, treating, and disposing. Basic, right? But we are not doing that. Even in your household, you might not be doing that. Like, government has advised us to use green waste and plastic waste differently, but you might not be doing that. Like, and they'll do, we are not concerned about it, and they will separate the waste. But everyone thinks they will separate the waste. Who will eventually separate these waste? And that leads to this mountainous waste collected from a city. Now this waste is no longer useful, like a material that has served its purpose and is no longer used, it is waste. No use. Improper disposal, like what leads to this mountain? Improper disposal of municipal solid waste. It leads to unsanitary conditions, and conditions that can pollute the environment and have outbreaks of vector-borne diseases. Diseases caused by rodents, insecticides, toxic chemicals, fumes, and it poses a wide variety of administrative, economic, and social problems that must be solved. And we have to, like, you have to, and we have to solve those problems. It starts from us, then it becomes to we, and then it turns and it moves into a movement, a cycle that goes on. So I'll share the cycle with you. So this is what I was talking about. solid waste management, like collection. How are you collecting your waste? Are you separating your waste, or are you not separating? How is it being processed? How it is being transported? There are several rules regarding to it, like collection, dry waste, wet waste, different, how it is being transported, what is the recovery aspect, like what is being recovered, what is not being recovered, what are the type of waste. Like even in solid waste you might also have a battery, right? That is another entire different case of waste. You might be considering your waste products, your computers, laptops, your 10-20 year old phone that might be stored in your vault or something, that you might be thinking, oh my god, it has some memory in it, and if I give it to someone, they'll misuse it. No, they will not misuse it. It is treated on e-waste side. Now that is a different type of, entirely different type of waste. Like electronic waste, they are also being segregated and separated. Like whenever you buy a product, or electrical product, or any product, whether it may be any product, you might have seen this symbol in it, like reuse, reduce, and recycle, the concept of 3 R's. Nowadays it has become so many R's that people have included reuse, reuse, recycle, reduce, um, and many other aspects of it, like 3 R's, 4 R's concept. But it started with this 3 R's concept: reduce, reuse, and recycle. There is also refuse, like you go to a shop, and vendor gives you a polythene bag, and he says, "Keke, no, you take it," and you refuse to take it. That is refusing entirely of using a product that is given to you, that will eventually go into a solid waste dump site. So that is refusal. Reduce, reduction and reuse. Some of these you might have even seen in your home. Like just take an old shirt of yours. It serves many aspects throughout, right? You have seen a lifetime of a shirt. You wear it, it becomes old. First it's outside, then you wear it at home, and then it goes in process of that. The life cycle of that shirt itself serves so many, and then finally it is discarded. So just think of that, like you do these things, and still there is a ginormous problem of solid waste in every city. I'll not just say my city, in every city it is a problem. So you might want to think about it a little bit more, okay, how you can do something about it. I'll be moving on to the effects caused by those three problems that I talked about. You might like air, water, solid, many other problems like land pollution, this pollution, that pollution. There are many types of pollution. I just covered the basic three that has a ginormous effect on human activities, that is caused by humans. And so I'll say global warming. Global warming, you might have heard from way back, third, fourth, fifth standard, okay, global warming phenomena caused by greenhouses gases and this and that. Now I'll explain the basic definition of it. Is a long term heating of Earth's climate. Now from pre-industrial era to since now, in 2022, the earth is trapping heat due to greenhouses gases. Levels are rising in earth atmosphere. Heat trapping is also increased. Now what causes this greenhouses gases? Like it is a separate aspect of air pollution in itself, like green fuel burning, fossil fuel burning. You might have seen the factories emitting coal burning, wood, and all. So this is an entire different concept of greenhouse gases that traps heat. Their basic function is to trap heat, like they absorb heat, and the heat stays in stagnant with that gas, and it does not exit the atmosphere, and that leads to the whole earth being warm. I'll just explain a graph. Now this graph shows the mean the temperature of earth over the years from 1880 to 2020, like before, right now, before 2 years. So the earth temperature rose to above 1 degree Celsius, the baseline of above 1 degree Celsius. That is a very worst case scenario if you are imagining from it. Like, you might not even know, but like, you might just say, oh, 1 degree, it is okay with me, 1 degree, it is very fine. But that is not the case. Whenever the global temperature increases, your local climatic conditions, your local city is also being affected. And due to that local activities, the global, like, both are interconnected with itself. Like, you do activities, the global temperature increases, and like, activities in terms of millions, like not just a single person, there are millions of you that does each and everyday activity, and temperature keeps on rising. You use ACs, electricity, motor vehicles, and this and that each and every year, right? So by far this has been increasing. What are the causes of it? Rise in population, rise in the lifestyle, the industrialization, the use of more products in your day-to-day life. That is that is giving a new rise to temperature exceedances, to global warming scenarios. Now impacts, like, it is done, ho gaya, global warming is done. Now what are the things that are as a consequences? I'll show. These are the consequences. Now it is done. Now what you can do? You can do nothing. Like, impacts on drinking water. The snow tops, glaciers melt, like, mean temperature. You have ice cube, you put it in your hand or on a desk or something else, it will melt. Why? Because it came out from its environment, and now it is sitting on an environment that is unfamiliar. It cannot stay in that environment. That is the same case happens into polar ice caps, like Arctic and Antarctic. They melt. Now what will you do when the ice melts? Water will be there. You'll clean up that water. Now just think about it, that ice cube is million and million tons of ice. What will that do to your sea levels? It would be rising in your sea levels. Like, cities will be flooded, more floods, more hurricanes, more heat, the drastic changing patterns of rain and snow. Like, you have rains nowadays in January, and you have rains in December, where you might not be even getting rains. That is winter for you. So you have rains in those periods. It also not, we are just thinking from our perspective, like, how does it impact you? It also affects the wildlife, the oceans, the fishes, each and everything, the whole of environment itself. Now I talked about consequences. I'll be moving on towards, like, how local climatic conditions that are changing due to global warming. So climate and climate change are two entirely different things. Like, one is, what is climate? I'll give you a basic definition. Climate is an average weather in a given area for a longer period of time. Like, you have seasons like summer, winter, monsoon, rainfall, and sunshine, and this. Now, those seasons, when they change drastically, due to global warming, heat trapping of greenhouses gases, and earth temperature rising in itself. So that is tending towards a climate change. You have rains in July, you have rains in June, July, you have unwanted storms, you have many things like you have heat waves, cold waves, etc., etc. That is due to climate change from global warming, from the polluted environment. You get it? And that is from the activities that we do. Now climate change on, and now its consequences, and the way I covered it: global warming, consequences, climate change also has its consequences. Now severe weather can cause fatalities. Like, see, you might have read it in newspaper or articles or somewhere. There has been a warning of heat waves in the past, in the next 3 days. Now in next 3 days, people faint and people have extreme conditions due to the extreme heat that has impact on us. We have diseases like dengue, uh, Rift Valley, Lyme disease, chikungunya, etc., respiratory diseases, waterborne diseases, even degradation of environment. We are affected in all the cases. Like when CO2 rises, sea level rises, extreme weather conditions, and rising temperatures, we are affected through each and everything. Now I'll talk about heat. As I talked about, okay, global warming, climate change, and I'm bringing it to a more local level, a city you are staying in, right? So, like, we talked about globe, we talked about nation. Now we talk about something that you can relate to, right? Now this is heat island. Like, you might know or you might not know, I don't know, but this is a profile, a urban heat island profile. Now what is a heat island in itself? A trapping of heat in the city. Like, the outskirts of the city are more cooler than the city itself. The heat is trapped in the city. It does not move away. Like, as you can see from this profile, that a rural area has 30 degrees Celsius, even less than 30 degrees Celsius temperature, whereas commercial or downtown or city area, like high densely packed city area, has 33 degrees Celsius. Now you might say that, oh, that graph was 1 degree Celsius and now this person is saying 3 degrees Celsius. How is it possible? That was global earth temperature. You are talking about air temperature right now. Like, the temperature, the climatic zone you are living in it, right? So, and because you know that whenever you come from a rural side to a urban city skirt, like, you feel like, oh, it is very hot in here, and you might want to move towards the outskirts of the city, and you might feel a little cool. That is the phenomena of urban heat island in itself. Now I'll talk a bit more about the extreme events caused due to all the things that I've talked about: global, whether it may be global warming, climate change, uh, any other thing, like global pollution leading towards it, and everything, the extreme events. Like, we live in a concrete jungle, right? From this slide we say we live in a concrete jungle. We have the scenarios of it. We also have the scenarios of flash floods. You might know this word, flash floods. A city is flooded due to drastic rains, extreme rainfall in city, and that gives rise to flash floods. Because you are staying on a paved ground, water does not percolate into the ground, and water accumulates and accumulates further and further, right? Giving it a term of flash flood, because it is instant and it's flooded. The city is done, it's flooded. People have nowhere to go, their homes are flooded, all the ration and stocks are being disrupted, everything is worse. We have the scenarios of forest fire. uh, Before a year or two, you might have read this in papers, the Amazons were on fire, right? It was the worst case scenario. The Australian wildfires, the Canadian wildfires, many forest fires have been recently occurring due to global warming, the climate change effect. We have scenarios of drought in 2014 or 16, maybe, I don't know the exact year of it, but in Chennai, and there was a drought, and in the next year or so the conditions were of flash floods. Like, can you imagine those two scenarios? A drought and a flood, extreme opposites in a city itself. So people were not having a drinking water. In a year or so, they were having water like flooding their streets. We have the disruptions of ocean life, um, the solid waste that or any types of waste that are being dumped into rivers, oceans. The ocean life is getting distorted by it. Worst, the melting of polar ice caps, rising sea levels. Melting gives a term to rising sea levels. We have the concept of high tides, the rising of tides day by day. Like a city is being flooded, the a city is covered into sea a day by day. Islands vanish, right? And we have extreme events like hurricane, storm, and all that. Um, I don't know, but in 2020, like, I don't recall the perfect name of it. But the storm, the cyclone that hit Gujarat disrupted so many lives. That was an extreme event. Those events tend to pretend you, and that repetitions are occurring more and more nowadays. So now we talked about everything: global warming, this effect, that effect, climate change, each and everything you might have learned from since when. Now we might say, what, who, why, when, what are you supposed to do, when are you supposed to do, what is your role in it, how can you, like, as a single entity, what are you supposed to do, right? Like, if I may have a answer or two, like, just from audience, like, how do you quantify yourself in this phenomena of the whole global concept? Hello, am I audible, right? Hello,
Yes,
hello.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. So I was telling that how a particular a
yes,
person plays a
yes,
role
yes.
in this whole global climate
Yeah, so I
change
was telling that
phenomena,
how a
global warming
particular
phenomena, or so.
person plays a role in this whole global climate change.
Can I have an answer? Okay, it's fine. Now, as a single person, like, what you might want to do, I suppose that you all are from engineering background, and I'll just assume you all are from engineering background, and you might have Uh, you are you have continued your studies thinking that, okay, I'll serve a different perspective and I'll have a greater role to play in this. So Now I'll just put on a few statements from my side, that uh, what I think that what your role towards this environmental awareness aspect is. You all know that whenever you go to a park or a tree or a downside river, and you feel pleasant, like taking a jog in a park and walking through a hiking in a forest and all. You feel good that okay, fresh air and all, apart having a side from a city, you feel good. But like, what is being an engineer? What is the quantitativeness of your answer? Like, you are feeling heat now. Heat now, if you say, if it would be so nice if I would have a water body or a tree, a shade of tree by my side, so you will be like, but as an engineer, how much kilometer square, how much meter square of a water body is it supposed to be, that you and all the people surrounding you are supposed to feel a bit humid or a bit cooler than what you are actually feeling. So those are the answers that you will have to answer at some point of the time. Like we all know, okay, 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 trees provide shade, they give us cooling. I'll ask, how many trees that give you cooling? One tree, two tree, how many trees? And what type of trees will give you cooling? So, and there are answers in terms of sources at mitigation. What if you don't do it at all? Like if you are going from your own vehicle to your university to place back, and if you use a public transport, you would be reducing and pollution, or that amount of pollution that carries four people in your car or your bike itself. So just think about it, that what as an engineer you are supposed to do, whether it may be whatever field you might be in. You might be from computer, electrical, civil, any field. Like how are you supposed to create a better sustainable, so I'd say sustainable environment for the next generations, right? So like you have to give answers in terms of quantitativeness. You know the answers qualitatively, like okay, this much amount of water is good. Like how much? Like water is good, but how much, right? Now towards sustainable goals, the United Nations developed sustainable development goals that aims towards a sustainable city, a sustainable nation, and a sustainable earth in itself. Like, I'm not saying that a single person do each and every one of you just do it all 17 of this, and each of you are given a task to do this. So no, it is not like that. Each and every one, if you do a single goal, it would become a huge number. Like as a single entity you might try to bring a change. As a whole, the change will come in itself. We as an engineer, you have problems like you don't have good health and well-being. People tend to live so long, and then you saw people like, oh, my grandfather is of 100 years of age, and now you say, oh, is 70, 60 is good. Nothing doing after that. It is bare minimum. And that's it, I guess. So decent industry, you might have industrial innovation, sustainable cities, responsible consumption, production, life on land, below water, everything. Just see that as a entity, you are trying to bring a change to an environment that you are living in it, right? So thank you so much. I'll end my presentation here. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, am I visible? Like, I stopped sharing, but any questions from your side? Sorry, ma'am, you're on mute. Hello? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Am I
You're
audible?
audible now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
Yes.
absolutely audible. Yeah.
So I would like to express my gratitude to you, sir, and
Thank you.
thank you for presenting such a knowledgeable content regarding this global environmental awareness, right?
Yeah,
And thank you for this such informative session for our first year students as well as the D2D students. They are having environmental science subject in this
okay,
semester, so now they
okay,
will be
okay.
more prepared for their examination. And regarding also
Okay, okay, okay.
awareness, whether it is mechanical branch, whether it is EC,
Okay,
IT, CSE
okay,
already has finished learning
okay, okay,
environmental
okay,
science,
okay.
but they
Okay.
should know the importance of
Potence
environment,
of
right?
environment.
How,
Yeah,
yes, how
exactly.
we can conserve environmental elements that is
So, to,
beneficial for us and
so
for
that's
newer
the
generations as well, right?
generation. Yeah,
So I would also like to thank my head of the department, Dr. Lalit Thakur, and for giving me this good opportunity and bringing you on this platform, and also
thank you.
Parul University, yes, of course, for providing and giving the opportunities to each and every faculty to bring their experts, and having this such one hour webinar, informative webinars regarding all the subjects, regarding all the branches, along with my colleague Professor Shwetal, and also our PU webinar team for continuous working for all the webinars all over the university.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And it was a great pleasure talking to all of you, like you, Shwetal, and all the students that were present in the webinar. Like, I hope you might you might just have an idea that what you will be doing or what you're supposed to do, even if you implement just a bit of it in your day-to-day life, right? So just see to it, right?
Okay,
Like
so we also
I
had
thank
this live
you and
session on
all.
Facebook.
Hmm? Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay,
you
okay.
can just visit our page, that is PU webinar, and you can find the live session recording as well
Okay,
of
okay,
this
okay,
webinar.
okay,
Thank you so much, Aditya,
okay,
sir.
okay. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you,
have
Okay.
a good
Parul
day,
University,
all.
and both of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
students,
bye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
faculties.
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Aditya, from my side.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Shwetan. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yes, yes.